Hello Mallards, it's Saturday and I'm in the Fringe offices. There is a rehearsal for Jekyll and Hyde happening, so you might be hearing their music. But I'm here to talk about She-Hulk, episode 9, otherwise known as the final episode of the season. What a bummer. I'm really actually kind of sad to see this one go. I know I'm usually sad to see everything that wasn't Loki go. So I guess that's just the way that it is, because I could watch content forever. It is my vice. And so I was particularly sad though to see She-Hulk finish its season, because I think that Tatiana Maslany has done an incredible job and I've enjoyed the writing and the way this whole show has gone. But let's get into my play-by-play notes, everybody's favorite part. My first note says I'm obsessed with this 80s style intro, and I believe there maybe was a She-Hulk before. My brother would know, but I don't. So it probably played off of the motif of that, but I really liked the letterbox style, the energy, the very different costuming, and the way She-Hulk looked. All of it was really, really freaking enjoyable. And then we got some Mallory action, not as much as I wanted, but she really was going hard and still being supportive, and I like that about her. And I also wrote, we love Pug, he's a good one. Which I still stand by. Jen went to jail for destroying a party, which seems a little overkill. I'm just saying. We have watched superheroes do a lot worse. And as discussed in the previous thing, apparently the Sokovia Accords have been repealed. So I guess, I don't know. It just seemed like an awful big step for an awful small thing. And then they're just gonna make her not turn into She-Hulk anymore, which also seemed like an awful lot for an awful small thing. And I was a little bit miffed by that, I'll admit it. But it's fine. She went to jail. She's getting out of jail by agreeing not to turn into She-Hulk anymore. We'll see how that goes. And then I wrote, Jen's parents really just said, it's all right, sweetheart. People go to prison every day. Her parents, so good. Absolutely over the top supportive. And I feel like that's something that we need. It's something that's been in these later Marvel shows. Miss Marvel has her own supportive parents. Now Jen has supportive parents. And I really like that. I feel like they deserve having supportive family around. But also, Bruce, this is your aunt and uncle. They literally just told your daughter, it's okay, people go to prison all the time. And you really thought you had to hide in the wilderness in Mexico? You seem to have the nicest family in the entire world. Why did you not go home? Why did Natasha have to come and hunt you down? Ooh, the air conditioner turned off. You'll definitely hear music now. I said Nikki is a delight, and so is Jen's mom, and I really liked the murder board of trying to figure everything out. And then my next note says, screw you, Dennis. And we didn't get much Dennis, but the amount of Dennis we got was too much Dennis for a single episode, and I hate that man. And then Jen has a fourth wall breaking where she's like, is this what you guys want? Do you want me to get screwed over? Is that what we're here for? And I just want to be no, Jen, that is not, in fact, what I want. I do not want you to get screwed over, and I'm really sorry that's happening to you. Also, I really loved you stopping the narrator. I thought that was enjoyable. And then she's like, I'll just go see Emil, because he said I could stop by any time, and now is the time. And wow, anytime and now is the time, what a great phrase. I love it. And then Nikki being like, I am gonna figure this out. I'm gonna post an embarrassing video of Jen, and she's gonna forgive me, because by doing this, I'm gonna figure out who Intelligentsia is and who's after her. And it works, because Nikki is slick and is the underrated hero of this entire series. Then Jen is at Emil's reading deep haikus with a horribly photoshopped cover that made me crack up. And then we send Pug in undercover into Intelligentsia, and how uncomfortable he is just really makes me love that man so much more. That's the moment where I was like, yes, Pug, I can appreciate, I can love you, because you are so uncomfortable here. I love this song. Sorry. This seems like an apropos song for me to talk about She-Hulk. Bring on the men? Yeah. And my next note says, ugh, this is really just every fan I hate, because that is how I felt. It really was just every fan I hated in that room talking about all the things I hate to hear them talk about. Just let other people be happy and enjoy stuff. Go touch grass, okay? Go touch some grass. And then, of course, it's Todd, and I shouldn't be surprised. Like, I should have realized that Todd was the leader of this. That totally makes sense. And then Emil showing up and doing his speech that, like, seems like his encouraging speech, but it's to this group of total jerks. And I was like, I really hope he doesn't understand what this group is. Because, like, if Emil's bad, if he's just bad, that's lazy, and I don't like it. And then it seemed like maybe Emil doesn't know. He was still changing into Abomination, which is rude, but, like, capitalism sucks, and I get it. And then Todd's like, yeah, I took your blood and I'm gonna transform. And then Tatiana shows up. And then Bruce comes up. And I was like, where's Wong? And more importantly, to everyone, where is Madisynn 2 N's and 1 Y, but it's not where you think? Because if everybody's coming back, we all know that the number one person that I want is Madisynn. And she was not delivered to me in this whole episode. And I still am a little bitter about it. It's the only bad thing about this episode. No Madisynn. And then Jen's like, nope, I'm done. And she really breaks the fourth wall, breaking into the Disney Plus menu, breaking into another show, demanding, like, sneaking into the writer's room, confronting all of the writers. And I am curious if the people, like, in that are the actual writers of the show, or maybe some comic writers. Like, I don't recognize people's faces well enough to know. I should look that up, but I didn't before I started talking to you, and I won't now. So if you know, let me know. And then she demands to see Kevin. And my first note was, wait, why is it Kevin in the subtitles? And then somebody says, I would murder to protect Kevin. And that also cracked me. Like, knowing who's writing it, like, wow. I wonder if Kevin Feige saw this in the script and signed off on it, or if this has all been a surprise to him, because he just, like, signed off on the big concept and didn't know exactly what was happening in the minute by minute, and, like, saw the dailies at some point and was like, oh. Knowledge enhanced visual interconnectivity nexus. My note says, this is so dumb. Not that that doesn't mean I don't like it, because I enjoy the meta nature of everything, and comics are absurd, and so I'd like to have a little bit of absurdity, but I'm willing to acknowledge the fact that they turned Kevin Feige into a robot named Kevin, who still has that, like, signature baseball cap looking thing, is absolutely absurd and, like, a little bit dumb. But it was fun. And I also really liked when he was like, no, please turn back into Jen because you're very expensive, and a lot of our visual effects artists have moved on. And I think that it must have been just really fun to shoot this whole portion. Like, Tatiana Maslany must have been having a great time. I was in love. I was in love with her criticisms, and I was in love with the changes she made, and I really enjoyed her talking about daddy issues. And I also really loved, and I wouldn't mind having Daredevil back, A Woman Has Needs, to which Kevin said, historically, we've been light on that department. And I was like, oh, wow, so true. So true. Glad you've moved past that. And I also really like Jen saying, I smash fourth walls and bad endings, and sometimes Matt Murdock. No notes. Just no notes. For most of the things that come out of Jennifer Walters' mouth, no notes. She and Nikki can say anything that they want at any time. And Mallory. I maybe only have notes for the men. And then when Kevin says, see you on the big screen, she goes, really? And he goes, no. Killing me, Kevin. Rude. Are you really confirming to me that no She-Hulk on the big screen? I mean, I don't trust that. It'll happen. You'll change your mind. And I just love how, like, then she returns and it's just already wrapped up. Like, Todd is getting sued, Emil's going back to prison, Daredevil just drops in, and then goes to family dinner, where I was completely enamored, once again, with his dynamic with Jen. They are my MCU ship. Because I can't have Steve and Bucky. So I get Jen and Matt, and it's the number one thing that I'm obsessed with. They're my OTP. I didn't know it before the show started. I didn't know it until like 3 episodes ago, but here we are, Jennifer Walters and Matt Murdock. the dream couple, the MCU dream couple. And then I said, excuse me, did Bruce just very casually introduce a son? Is this why there wasn't more budget for Jen to be She-Hulk earlier, because they spent it on Scar? Like, come on, be honest with me here, Kevin. That's what it was, wasn't it? They'd moved on to creating Bruce and Scar, and you just didn't want to spend it on Jen turning into She-Hulk. Disappointing. And I really love Matt just being like, wow, your family. And then we have our little stinger where Emil goes to Kamar-Taj. And my thought was, if Emil is going to Kamar-Taj, does that mean that I can have an America and Abomination team up? Because I'm suddenly really about that. Also, where are Emil's wives? Somebody answer that for me. The questions I'm left with at the end of this series. Where are Emil's wives? Mostly just that. Anyway, I loved the show. If you enjoyed it, leave a comment down there. If you couldn't understand me because of all the music playing, that's not why I do this anyway. And I'll see you tomorrow.